Welcome to The Point with Hospitality Technology. Today's topic, reimagining loyalty programs for restaurants. This episode is brought to you by Patronics. Before we begin, a few housekeeping notes. The audio for this presentation will come from your computer, laptop, or mobile device. Be sure the speakers are on and pump up the volume. You can pose questions for me or our guest at any point during this live stream by using the Q&A function that you'll find on the left of your screen. And finally, when we conclude this live stream, roughly around 2:30 Eastern, this episode will soon become available streaming on demand, the same link you used to register, so you can enjoy it all over again, or perhaps more importantly, share it with some colleagues who maybe missed it and should get caught up. I'm Robert Firpo-Cappiello. I'm editor-in-chief at Hospitality Technology. And as I mentioned, today's episode of The Point is Reimagining Loyalty Programs for Restaurants, and it's brought to you by Patronics. It's now my pleasure to introduce today's guest. David Hooper is Marketing Manager at CC's Coffee House. David, welcome to The Point.
Thanks for having me, Robert. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're psyched to have you, and I want to give you a minute to introduce yourself, who you are and what you do, and CC's Coffee House for those listening who aren't familiar with the brand.
Yeah, for sure. So like Robert said, my name is David Hooper. I've been with CC's Coffee House for about 6 years now. I actually, fun fact, started as a barista at one of our locations. So my life looks dramatically different than it did 6 years ago. So CC's has been around for about 30 years. We're mainly a Louisiana brand. We have about 42 locations across Louisiana with a few outliers, one in Texas, one in Mississippi. We've got some really fun growth ahead of us. And when it comes to loyalty programs, we've had a loyalty program for a long time. That's kind of looked different over the years, and we've had some fun updates here recently with the new app update with Patronics, and had some great results. Guests have loved it so far, and excited to talk more about that, more about some tests and some things we've done with our loyalty program, and hopefully get some good ideas going.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Thank you, David. Yeah, loyalty, it's always been hot, but maybe right now hotter than ever for restaurants looking for that margin and obviously the long-term benefits that loyalty can bring. We do an annual restaurant technology study where we ask restaurant operators, what are your top strategic goals? And digital engagement is this year was the number one goal. It was the number one goal last year. It's not going anywhere. It's super important, and loyalty and some of the tools, the tech tools that feed loyalty and operate loyalty programs are part of that. So really eager to dive in. We're going to start with the basic. It's maybe an obvious question, why loyalty matters, but different people define loyalty in different ways and maybe understand or misunderstand it differently. So we're eager to hear your point of view, why loyalty matters. And we'll start off with what does loyalty mean to CC's?
Sure. I mean, I think loyalty goes beyond just, the repeat business we see from our guests. I really think it's a relationship that's grown through not only our loyalty program, but also through operations. I remember as a barista at a location, those guests that would come in frequently, we'd see them coming up and we'd make their drink before they even got to the menu board. And it was one of those things that helped build that relationship with those guests. And just another reason they chose us over a competitor down the road. So I think that's an important aspect between loyalty programs and operations together. But to us, that's what loyalty means.
Mm-hmm. I love that story. I love that you were a barista at CC's. That's such a great part of your storytelling credibility from my point of view. But also, we had a recent event in Toronto, and the CEO of Restaurants Canada was on stage with me and gave a similar definition of loyalty. The barista knows my name and they know my order, and that's the beginning of that relationship. Yeah. So I love that. I want to talk a bit about the importance of turning that first-time customer into repeat guests. From our point of view, in the world of magazines, acquiring a reader takes a lot of effort and often a lot of expense. So the goal of getting them to come back regularly is a major deal. And I would love to hear your perspective on that from the restaurant point of view.
For sure. And I think it's very similar. Like, I think it's the same adage of it's it's more expensive to get a new one than keep an existing one, So it definitely comes down to, getting that first time person to start visiting us frequently. And we know, with our loyalty data, like once they start coming in and they're able to, try our products, our flagship Mocha Sippy, it's our frozen blended drink. So if anyone has not been to Louisiana and tried that, you should definitely make a trip. Mocha Sippy's on me for sure. But yeah, it's really about, the product and the service really transforming that guest experience and getting them to come back to us frequently. It's a big indicator and is a big way to build our transactions and our guest base.
Mm-hmm. I know some brands have like an equation for for defining what a loyal customer is, and some say it's not the second visit, it's not the third visit, it's the fifth, it's the sixth. Do you have anything like that? No pressure. We didn't prepare for this, but I'm just curious if you have anything kind of like that that algorithm.
Sure. Yeah. No. Sure. And we similar, and I don't necessarily have an exact answer for you, but we definitely have like that second, third visit for sure. So we have had some changes with our sign up reward, because our sign up reward for a while was just a free beverage on sign up. We can jump into that later when we start going through other things. Where it is currently now, a guest gets a certain amount of points, and after 2 visits, they get a free drink. And that's kind of like the cadence we see with a guest is the two visits, you get a free drink. So those 3 visits combined, it's kind of enough to get them build in that routine and frequency to visit us again.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's that gives me a really good idea, and our audience as well. I want to move to our next topic related to subtopic, if you will. I've called it Beyond Free Stuff, and that's in no way intended to denigrate the free coffee or slice of pizza or whatever it is that you earn through loyalty. But we've been seeing in recent years sort of innovative loyalty strategies. And so eager to kind of hear a bit about that. And again, just a little bit about our data. We survey restaurant and hotel customers once a year for our customer engagement technology study. And one question we do ask is, what do you want in return for your personal data? Which it's not directly a loyalty question, but it touches very much on like, okay, if I'm going to sign up for something and give you all that information about myself, what do I want in return? And of course, number one is essentially free stuff. They want discounts, they want freebies. But right after that, there's personalized experiences. There is a different level of communication, exclusive access to new products and things like that. So it's an exciting time, and not just for those offering those things, but for the customers themselves who value it. So eager to hear like just sort of a big picture, and then we can dig into some details, but like what different kinds of loyalty program features have you explored?
Sure. Yeah. So I think there's a few different formats just to set the stage for loyalty programs. We had a little kind of meeting with our Patronics friends about what we're looking at redoing our loyalty program, because our current program is a automatic conversion. So currently, 100 points, $1 equals a point. 100 points gets you a free drink. We have 2 tiers to it. So we have our loyalty tier and we have our ultimate tier. Ultimate tier is if a guest visits 100 times in a calendar year, they redeem free drinks at 85 points. So that's where we're at right now. It's very kind of cut and dry in terms of 100 points, free drink. I think what we're looking at doing and exploring is the bankable points option. So that's a fun loyalty option where a guest can decide to save up points for different rewards or redeem a lower amount of points for a lower value reward. That kind of aligns with guests who maybe want a drip coffee or a fresh brew coffee or a cold brew that might be less than a specialty espresso 22 or mocha sippy. So that's a program that we're looking at exploring right now. But then, other programs also consist of the punch card. There's things like surprise and delight and qualified visits. We see those. I personally have experience using those programs myself with other brands. But I think for us, we're going to explore the bankable points option in the future, because I think that's something that our guests really like, and I think that's something that they're gonna be excited about, because they can personalize their experience with us.
Hmm. Yeah, that I really like that idea. That makes a lot of sense. Um, and I guess I was going to ask what kind of rewards resonate with your guests, but you sort of gave us a good idea there
Sure.
that they like they like banking the points or redeeming them right away.
Mhm.
I know some brands are moving towards some more experiential or personalized rewards. I'm not sure if that
Right.
applies here.
Yeah. I mean, re- so a lot of our guests have asked for similar things like that, and it's something that we're kind of working towards to because our mission is to serve everyone better than anyone else. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things where like our redefining of our loyalty program is a way to serve our guests better. So that's something that we're working towards for sure.
Yeah, and then finally, I had a friend of mine in the industry once put it very bluntly. He said he knew some brands that had rewarded their way into bankruptcy.
Right.
It's a one liner, but it speaks to there's top line growth. Hey, we have more
Hmm.
people in our loyalty program than ever before, and then there's bottom line growth. We're actually making money, and so I
Yeah.
wanted to just touch on that because it's a balancing act for all brands, we know that. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's the magical formula is how do I get people and incentivize people to come in without affecting my bottom line for sure. I mean, a big thing that we try to focus on is and we kind of did some tests around point incentives. So whether it be double points or bonus points, I have some data to touch on at the end of this, but that's a way to kind of incentivize those guests to come in a little more. And then we also have marketing messages that go out. It's not necessarily rewards, but it's things that are exciting for our guests. Seasonal drinks are a very big deal for us. We're about to jump into our fall campaign, and
Mhm.
guests go crazy for the pumpkin. They go crazy for when we hit Mardi Gras season. We have a king cake latte and mocha sippy.
Wow.
They love those. It's a huge season for us.
Mhm.
And then also I've noticed that some other brands, we've done this for a few times for some LTOs, is and not necessarily program for specific, but we've also we've promoted it through our program, which is if you come in and buy the LTO, we'll give you a sticker of the drink or something, and that's just been a fun way to kind of push traffic to our locations without necessarily giving away a bunch of discounts and giving away and affecting our bottom line. It's more of just a simple marketing expense of our of stickers, something simple and fun like that.
Yeah, that sounds great. I have a personal question. Does the king cake latte include like the little figure inside, or is that not possible?
uh, that's it's one of those great marketing ideas that gets axed by HR because the
Yeah.
risk is
Yes.
way too real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Understood.
unfortunately, no,
Understood.
yeah, no baby with this, but it is delicious. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
delicious,
I,
that's for
I
sure.
can't wait to try one. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Awesome. So I want to move to. Oh, I'm glad you touched on marketing. You talk about marketing messaging going up because increasingly, as you know, technology is touching every aspect of the restaurant industry. So we no longer regard marketing as sort of a separate silo. And to your point, it's you're
right.
all of the tools that are part of the loyalty program are at the disposal of marketing and
Hmm.
that kind of messaging. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about leveraging technology because that's essentially what we're here for. And you mentioned the mobile app for I mentioned customer engagement, the importance of
hmm.
customer engagement, digital customer engagement to restaurants. I'd love to hear a little bit of your the CC's journey there toward an app that does all the things that you wanted to do for your customers.
For sure. And a little backstory too. So we've had a loyalty program, like I said, for a long time, and it's
Mhm.
looked different over the most recent years. So previous years, and still kind of today, our system was purely a physical card kind of system. So a guest would pick up a physical gift or physical card, and they'd get activated at one of our locations. And they could sign up online and use that card to redeem rewards and earn points and everything. We shook that up a little bit a few years ago by introducing a mobile ordering app, which was a huge deal for us, and it was great, and our guests love it. But over time, that app got a little a little outdated. There were some features involved and some things that kind of confused some of our guests. So we most recently did an app update with Patronics, and it's been phenomenal in terms of our guest response to it. It's very streamlined. We made it very simple for our guests to use on an everyday basis. So to answer your question in terms of how to optimize it, I mean, I think the seamless sign in and sign up is really important. Whenever jumping into an app, being able to get into it and sign up for the program quickly, I think is kind of something that does not get focused on enough, for sure. And then also, just like I was saying, guest navigation. For our previous app, we had a side drawer that had a ton of options. If you click some, it opened inside our website and the app. And I think that confused some of our guests. So having a streamlined app that just kind of is easy to navigate, guests know where to go and where to order. And then the order again function. I mean, that's something that I have underestimated that we've implemented in our new app that was very successful, where a guest, they open their app and they see what they ordered yesterday and they order it again very quickly. And I was a victim to that for another brand yesterday, actually. Whenever I was buying lunch for my family, I was shocked at how quickly $30 left my wallet. So it was like within 20 seconds, I ordered already. And I was like, I didn't have time to think about maybe, sizing down a little bit. So a very, a function that's very useful. And then also, being able to have the app as a hub for the loyalty program. Guests can jump in and see their points. They can see their visits. They can look at their rewards. And then, different things like one of the things that we're implementing soon at at our locations are QR code readers. So a guest around mid-August will have a QR code in their app, and they're able to earn rewards in store by just scanning their phone. And that's going to be a very big deal for us because currently, if you go by with your phone, you just give your phone number. So if you join our loyalty program just through the app, your only in-store experience really is giving a phone number. But now it's, you can show up to a CC's location, you can scan your phone, and you can earn points. So that's going to be a big deal for us, and I know our guests are going to love that.
Yeah, really cool. And I know I know professionally and personally, the attrition rate from somebody grabbing their phone intending to download the app or sign up for the loyalty program and the actual completion is that's where a lot of the real action happens. And so making it intuitive and fun or easy is so relevant. And I too have fallen for the repurchase what you got last time.
Order.
It's a win-win. It's a win for the restaurant. It's a win for the customer. But the local pizzeria here knows exactly what we want, and it's a matter of pressing the button. Right. So I can't really complain. All right. So any other? I think you've addressed my questions about the app, and just wondering if there's any other loyalty angle to making the app intuitive and easy to use, or have we covered that? I think we've covered that.
Yeah, I think we covered it. I mean, also I think one of my notes was, making sure your tech stack works together, making sure your POS and your, us Patronics work well together. And thankfully they do for us. So we haven't had, we haven't had issues, which is great.
Integration is still the top challenge for restaurants. Again, in our annual restaurant technology study, it's the top answer year over year. It is getting better. The number's coming down, but it's still a healthy number. That challenge. So our next subtopic was, I'm calling it the CC Coffee House case study. We wanted to talk a little bit about your recent strategies, which you have touched on already. And you mentioned you might have a little data to share. No pressure, because I understand this is a work in progress, but we're eager to hear some of that if you have it.
Sure. Yeah. And like I said, it'll be very broad. I'll be broad, but just be sensitive with data. But I will say that, for one, we made some changes to our loyalty program with the amount of points it took to earn a free drink. And in that same change, we changed up our sign-up reward. This was a problem for us for a few years, particularly when we introduced the app and guests could sign up just by downloading the app and online, was we saw some abuse within our loyalty program. So guests were creating fake accounts and getting that free drink. So kind of to address that, we changed it for instead of a free drink, it was 85 points. And that really helped with addressing that bottom line issue and also, our loyalty discounts. That was all a big thing. So I just encourage any other people, if you're struggling with that, it's a good thing to change. But over the summer, we did some tests. The summer is just, historically a slower time for just the industry as a whole. So that was kind of a time for us to do some testing around our loyalty program. So we introduced back our double point Tuesdays. So that was every other Tuesday we were doing double points on any purchases, and we did that through May, and we actually have one tomorrow as well. And then we also introduced bonus point days. So bonus point days were once a month. We would offer some kind of incentive. So we'd say, get 20 points if you order through the app. Just a $5 minimum spend, you get 20 bonus points on your order. And the data to share with that. So for our May double points, and this is just specific for double points, and I think across the board, double points increased our average ticket a good bit. It was when you look at the sales reports for those days, average ticket for each one was going up, which makes sense because guests are trying to get more points. So the average ticket goes up. We also saw a pretty significant lift in our mobile ordering transactions. And I attribute that to, a lot of the guests who are getting those marketing messages about double points and everything. They, a lot of them already use the app and order through the app. So that was a big, a big lift for us was mobile ordering. And it kind of stayed consistent and kind of helped push more mobile orders throughout, June and July and everything. And then for our bonus point days, I think those are a little more significant because I think a guest can wrap their head around 20 points a little better than double points. 20 points kind of has more of an appeal to it. So when we did it in May, we saw a pretty big lift in our mobile pay, mobile order. So mobile transactions. I will say, I think guests, it takes a second for our guests to kind of get understand what's going on and know that programs and incentives are happening. So in June, we saw kind of a slightly larger lift in mobile ordering, as well as a significant lift in our average ticket. And then for the last one that we did for July 23rd is probably the biggest one we've had in terms of results. And I was really, really happy about that one because we did 20 points if you order through the app. And we saw almost a twice year over year, twice the increase in mobile ordering, which was fantastic. It's something that we've constantly tried to lean on in terms of pushing our guests to order through the app and everything, because it frees up some of the operations. The average ticket's a little bit higher in the app. So that most recent one was a huge one for us, and contributed significantly to that day's sales report, the transaction report, and like I said, it doubled year over year of our mobile transactions.
That's fantastic. That's always a good metric to have. I love that. Yeah, nice. Well, it sounds like you are moving in the right direction, and in some ways you've arrived, and in other ways it's ongoing, and that's that's the way it is with every restaurant I interview. Right. It's an exciting story. You mentioned the notion of some people cheating. I know some colleagues of mine in the industry have expressed sort of the need for a loyalty program to reinforce good behavior, good citizenship, not bad behavior. And I would say, like, what the day where you were a double year over year was reinforcing a really positive energy, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and those 85 points is the perfect amount because it averages out to where guests need to visit about twice. Thinking about our average ticket, visit about 2 times, and they get a free drink. So like we were talking earlier, it's that 3. They visit twice, and their 3rd visit it's free. So it builds that cadence and that rhythm of them kind of frequenting our brand and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
Yep.
I would love you to leave the audience with like the notion that there's somebody out there who doesn't have 40 locations, and whether they're coffee or pizza or or something else, but is there like a sort of simple takeaway that you like, advice that you would have to them? And this is unprepared. I didn't tell you I was going to ask this, so no pressure. But like, that person's out there thinking, I don't have CC's name, I don't have their reach, but I want to do loyalty right. And I'm just curious if you have some words of wisdom for them.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I really think, it doesn't have to be overly complicated. There's pros and cons to every loyalty format, like we covered earlier. I've noticed a lot of the smaller brands using the punch card method, and there's some brands that some competitors of ours that actually use a method like that, and they are successful in doing so. I think it's you can start a program like that and scale your way up very easily. The downside of the punch card method is you don't really get anyone's information to market to them, and then you also open yourself up to some fraud, which is very it's a fair concern. But there's ways to do it really well, and there's ways to do it very simplified. Really and truly, it comes down to just serving your guests as best as possible, giving them a reason to to come back. And a loyalty program is just something to sit on top of that. So it's all about serving the people the best that you can. Give them what you can afford, and scale your way up.
Yeah, I love it. And I love how you've defined loyalty, in all the various ways you defined it, the old fashioned meaning of it and the newfangled app driven meaning of it, and how essentially they all come together. It's about experience and feeling like you're part of you're part of the brand.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Well, David Hooper, marketing manager at CC's Coffee House. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Our topic today, for those of you who joined halfway and maybe didn't figure out what we were about, is reimagining loyalty programs for restaurants. It's been an exceptional conversation, brought to you by Patronics, and I want to remind the audience that a little less than a month, August 27th, we'll be doing it again. The next episode of the Point webinar is restaurant payment technology, hot trends and new tools. And a reminder that 12 weeks from today, we will kick off the Mertech Executive Summit, which is an in-person event for restaurant technology and corporate leaders to explore new solutions. It's where leaders and solutions sort of come together in a really fun, smaller conference environment. I want to thank David Hooper, marketing manager at CC's Coffee House. Thank you so much, David, for bringing your insights and enthusiasm to the Point.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.